guys, this is my outfit today. I'm wearing this beautiful skirt. It's one of my favorites. I wanted to come on because I just feel like this video is going to be so timely. There is really something said about forgiveness, and I know that people say like, oh, forgiveness is kind of how you show up and how you continue to conduct yourself when you're with this person or around these people. And I'm going to beg to differ. You know, there are a lot of people I've forgiven who will never be able to have any type of contact with me, like at all. You know what I mean? We will probably never be in the same room because I've grown and I've elevated too, but seriously. And so when I think about forgiveness, so often, you know, you hear a lot of people saying things like, oh, you know, karma's going to get them. That's not forgiveness. You have to realize that you forgive by just moving on with your life. You know what I mean? When I think about the people who have did me wrong, first of all, look at me. I'm a stallion. You know, like you, and it's not even a matter of looks. It's not a matter of, it's a stick in my windshield wiper. It's not a matter of looks. It's not a matter of, oh, I was this or I'm the baddest. Like, it has nothing to do with ego and pride, but everything to do with knowing that you were genuine and you were real. I don't think we realize it. And here's the thing, right? We have a friendship epidemic going on right now. People are wanting friendships. People are lonely. So you have to realize that, like, being real and being like someone who is authentic, that is hard to come by. And so if you were that in a person's life, just know that that light is going to live on. And you have to realize that people make poor choices in life, okay? At the time, and listen, sometimes when we think about people who wronged us, we never stop and consider the fact that this person was really just doing the best they could at the time in which they were doing it. They may very much have regret looking back in hindsight, and you can't really front like you ain't never, you know, made some mistakes. But my point is, when people do you wrong, it irks their spirit. I wrote a column about this. I really do think that Black people, we really have kinship in Christ. You know what I mean? Like, there really is something said about our spirits and how when we wrong one another, there really is no peace from that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get any peace from hurting a Black person. Like, I think that when we hurt one another, there's really something deeply rooted in our psyche, in our spirit, in our subconscious, or whatever, that really has a way of like convicting us. And it leaves scars. And I think that's why for so many of us, like, forgiveness is such a hard thing. But I knew someone who was so upset, lived their whole life bitter and angry at someone doing them wrong. And, you know, this person who did them wrong went on, lived their life, but lived it in a way that wasn't prosperous. You know, they lived it in a way that really was very tumultuous. They never had any peace, and they made some poor decisions after wronging this person for whatever reason. And, you know, that person probably was sent to them to bless them. And so I more so say that to say, you have to get to a point in your life where it's like you just find peace. You know, I look at me and I look at where I am and where God has brought me, and I am so grateful. Like, I could not imagine had I still stuck around with the people in my past, you know, and the people who have wronged me. I thank God that I am not still rolling and I didn't stick around with these people. I thank God that these people did wrong me and remove me, because I would have never been able to become the woman that I am today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful, and my life is so beautiful and it's so precious and so prosperous. Like, I would not want to, I couldn't imagine any of these people, you know, from my past being here in my present. Like, everything happens for a reason, and you don't realize it, but when you hold on to that, you really rob yourself and you delay yourself of the healing. I think one of the reasons why we have such a hard time forgiving and moving on is because we're invalidated. I know that we're in this culture now where it's like everyone definitely wants to be the victim, and like, I get that. Like, you know, like, I do think that we do have a society that really rewards victimhood and arrogance and just all the wrong things, right? Like, left is right and right is totally left these days. And it's always kind of been that way. But you have to kind of get to a point too where you have to like validate yourself and console yourself. You know, there was a reason why I was always on my own time for so long. Because, you know, I kind of lived my life and I made certain choices. You know, I had some wrongdoings, unjust situations happen. And it took a while for me to recover from that. I was never the type of person to go and run up under somebody else. I was never the type of person to go and like throw myself, you know, in any type of relationship or, you know, looking for anything in another person. You know, I really, I could wear these earrings. These ones look so much better. Let me stay focused on video, but I just feel like these would just look so much better than what's in my ear right now. Like, I just feel like these would just really do it versus these. These are kind of big, but I like it. It's kind of fitting for the look. Okay, let me stay focused. But I've never been that type of person. So I would really grieve, and I would take my time to grieve, and people would be like, oh my God, girl, like, it's been a year. Are you still single? Are you still grieving over that, or whatever the case may be? Yes, because I'm real, and when I love, I love. I'm not a fake person. You know what I mean? I can't just turn it on and turn it off. I don't get with people to use people. I don't get with people because, or whatever reason. Like, I'm here because I want to be here. Okay, and I like you. I love you. I love this position. I love whatever this, you know, this season is in my life, whatever this is, and not just in terms of relationships. Like, I'm showing up as me. So, you know, betrayal hurts a little different. It hits a little different when you're authentic. You know, it hits a little different when I wasn't here for anything but you. And I think, like, with anything else, you know, death, seasons, loss, mourning, it's a real thing. And I think that's another reason, too. You're never going to be whole if you don't take the time to, like, grieve and process your emotions. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I just genuinely think that you got to take time. And I think because we live in a world now where it's like there really is such thing as like fear of missing out. And so I think for so many people, you know, you just kind of find yourself listening to people like, oh, you're 25 or oh, you're 30 or whatever the case may be, especially for women. And, you know, there becomes this pressure for you to kind of keep going. And I think even just in Black culture, Black society, you know, in our communities, we have to be resilient because we got to deal with all this other craziness going on in this world. So it's like, you know, we have to really be resilient. But like as a women and as people in general, this is not just a message for the ladies, this is a message for everybody. You know, you got to take the time to grieve. You have to take the time to process. And I didn't care what anybody says. Yes, it's been a year. In what? I'm still grieving, but taking that time made me so whole. I've always given myself the time to grieve it. I don't care however long it takes, because I think I'm worth that. I'm worth the restoration. And I think that kind of goes back into too, like taking care of yourself. See, that right there, prime example of what self-love is and what self-care really looks like. How is your spirit? You know? And so for me, I've always taken that time to grieve. And I think that because we live in a culture where it's like, oh girl, get over it, move on, get on there, you know, whatever, you don't really take the time to grieve. Like, you're emotional. It hurts. Take your time, babe. What's the rush? You know, what's the rush? And I think having moved fast sometimes, done things when I wasn't ready, listening to other people, you know, making that mistake for fear of missing out, I ended up getting things and I wasn't ready for it. I sabotaged it. And now I gotta go. Now I'm already healing, but now I have to grieve the fact that, you know, I wasn't able to receive this blessing. Golly. You know, like, and so it's just like, I think at the end of the day, you're worth it. Like, you're worth the wait. You know, like, you're worth, that's the name of the video. You're worth the wait. However long it takes, take the time to grieve. Like, I don't care. Okay, and what? Take the time to grieve. Now, I'm not saying keep talking about it, because you have to realize that, like, everybody has their limits, right? So if you have friendships or, you know, whoever it might be in your life, you know, who's your confidant, you know, you don't have to keep bombarding them with the same story. Like, I'm not the type of person, like, I'm not going to keep bringing it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely going to take my time to grieve. But for me, it's always kind of been like through journaling. If you have a therapist, that's another great thing. And if, you know, you have your friends, like, it's okay to reach out to your friends, but just also realize too, like, you know, if it's been a year for you, like for me, it would take it would just take time. I didn't always keep reaching out to my friends. You know, I wasn't always going to people because people have limits. You know what I mean? You have to be mindful of that as well. It's not that, you know, people don't want to be around you if you're not in a bad mood. Like, you know, we want to be around to lift our friends up, and we want to be with them when they're in those, you know, dry places. But at the same time, you know, life has to go on, and we all got stuff. So it's like you have to be mindful of that. I'm on a quick time crunch. I'm going in here to make this grinder sandwich. I'm so excited. Like, I just want to have some good lunch. And I got to get me some coffee creamer and just a few other things. Girl, I stay in the grocery store. That's just how we do. I found a little coupon, if I can find it. But, yeah, you guys, that's it. You know, that's the message. Like, it would be me. I probably threw it away because that's just how I do. It would probably be me. But, yeah, just, you know, take your time to grieve and realize people make mistakes. And I've watched someone literally ruin their entire life because they held on to the emotional pain and baggage and what someone did to them and the wrong that was done to them. Girl, now I'm miserable. Whole life gone. I'm not even kidding. Whole life gone. This person then went on with their life. They still a hot mess, you know. Then it's like, it's not like, you know, and then you have to realize that, like, just the way God works, there's a spirit of conviction. Okay, you know when you do something wrong, God is on your back. So it's the same for everybody else. Like, nobody gets out of here, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there are some people who just completely ignore their conscience, but even still, they're not doing well. Because what life is that? You know, you're not alive at that point. Most people, you know, hey, we ain't got to go that deep, but they never have to see you again. You don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be that, you know, but love yourself enough to give yourself time to heal and grow and take however long you need to grieve. I don't care if it's the death of a relationship, a relative, a job, a dream, an opportunity. You need to grieve it. Like, in life, we have loss. You can't always be on. You can't always be happy. You can't always be, you know what I mean? Okay, it's cool to shuck and drive, but I mean, you're not a robot. Okay, you're not a Tesla. You're not just gonna keep going. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take the time to grieve and gather yourself and your emotions. Pour into yourself. You're worth the wait. Love you.